side of the city. Today I do want to work on a new house, but I want to take down these fire trucks first because we've got one at the fire station, and we only built these purposely for the Park Drive episodes. So there is one at the fire station, and I want to knock these down now because they wouldn't really be here anymore. The fire's been put out. As a matter of fact, they shouldn't have been there last episode, which you guys saw, but we hadn't got them taken down. And the firefighters were just doing a few last things, you know, boarding up, and some builders were helping board up as well. So, you know, we're all good that way. Which I'm really pleased. So the fire's finished now with Park Drive. That is it. That is the fire story over. Well, I wouldn't say over. I mean, we're not just going to start something fresh on Park Drive and never speak of it again. I mean, there's still so much unanswered questions, like will Steve get caught for doing it? What's going to go down? Who's going to survive? That type of thing. But in terms of the actual fire itself, it's been put out rather, it's been boarded up, and the house is just left like this now until some builders decide to do any work on it, or depending on even whatever happens to it. I mean, there's so many different things what could happen, you know, basically, you know, there's so many different ways that the story can happen. There's so many different things what can go down, and I'm just really excited to carry this Park Drive story on, like, because there's so many different ways we can do things. But I have a really interesting thing, a really cool idea, which I'm gonna go over with some of the Park Drive people. I don't really want to tell you what it is, but basically it kind of involves an idea I was already going to do, but it kind of makes the idea what I originally had more interesting. Now, I kind of really want to like let slip a little teeny bit about it. I guess I can tell you my original idea, because my original idea isn't going to spoil anything to do with Park Drive. My original idea isn't going to spoil anything, so I'll tell you the original idea, but I won't tell you exactly what, you know, what the sort of new idea I've just had happens. So basically, if you watched my old YouTube channel, when we did some of the commercials, there was a guy called Athlete Steve in it, and basically Athlete Steve is the Athlete Steve skin from the default texture pack, and basically he did adverts for vehicles and things like that. He advertised like new trucks at the SPSC dealership and all of that good shiz. And basically, my first idea, bearing in mind I'm not going to tell you the second idea, my first idea is I'd like to include that character into the story of Park Drive. So I'd like him to come to Park Drive as a new character and live in a house. But I have an even cooler idea as to him coming into Park Drive, but I can't tell you how, and I can't tell you when. I can only tell you that at the moment I'm just thinking about adding him. Now, he was a good character in SPSC adverts and things like that, so I may add him into Park Drive, but I may not. It just depends what goes down. But if I add him, I have a pretty cool idea of some things I can do with him, but I don't want to let slip, obviously, exactly what we're going to do. So before we build this new house, I'm just going to start extending the graveyard. Now, the graveyard is obviously now going to be extended all around here to create a little kind of cemetery styled thing. So there's going to be like all headstones and things going around here, and then I think I'm just going to put some grass at this side and some trees and keep this side as the cemetery side. And then obviously you've got the little church here, which we've not used the church in a while, we're going to have to get back to that church for something, whether it's another funeral or a wedding, or we might even just have to do something as simple as a Sunday church service. But we haven't used the church in a while, since Shirley's funeral actually, which I think Shirley's funeral was about episode 12 maybe, episode 11 I think, we did her funeral, and then from then on Steve got worse in the series, which led obviously to the fire. So Cam griefed me last night. Wait, okay, right, Steve, is this actually true, or are you actually are you like joking again? You know, like that time when you faked an argument. Like, did he actually grief you, or are you just like, are you just trying to have me on? Because I kind of want to believe it, because I know Cam can grief, but at the same time you did trick me that time with you did trick me that time with pretending you had an argument, and now obviously Cam's here typing in the chat now. It kind of makes it a bit fishy. It kind of makes it a bit fishy that all of a sudden you both decide to argue in the stream, but yet no one's online. So, I'm not saying you didn't, but I'm keeping my eye out, I guess, because you never know. Like, I know that this could be alternatively something a little bit fake. So I'm going to use this trick. My friend Steve taught me it, that if you break 3 gaps from the coal, it won't spread to any of the grass or the fence, and then you can just burn all the coal out and fill it with whatever block you want, and it's a quick way of doing it. And it's a pretty cool idea, like, because before I was just manually breaking the coal, like block by block. But it kind of works better if you if you just let it spread and then just break all the coal. So you can see it spreading now, look. But I'm still going to go around and place more just to get the thing blazing a bit more. Well, I guess if you're not joking, I'll believe you, but I just wanted to clarify, because I know you've like tricked me in the past, saying that you two had an argument when I didn't. Bearing in mind, I'm not really fussed whether you have an argument or not. At the end of the day, Cam's griefed me before when we've not been friends, as jokes when we have been friends. He's sort of like pretended to grief as well, like winding me up, like putting like TNT in his hand and then putting it away, or placing it down and then breaking it with not actually setting it off. So I know Cam does have a history of griefing on the Minecraft PlayStation edition. And I have been griefed in the past as well, guys. I don't know if you guys ever knew, like, if you follow me from my old channel, basically back on my old account, like, this is talking way before I knew Steve and them. This is like back in the day, like when I used to join like Mr. Euphonium all the time, and KD and different people, and there was a guy called B Chaddy, and he basically joined me one day, and he basically like asked me to help him. But from that day on, like, I offered to help him. I've had messages before, people say, oh, I've seen you building a city on YouTube, can you help me start one? And I often go, sure, I'll just join and help you do a bit of road, point you in the right direction. But this guy had an absolutely terrible city at the time. It was like really thin roads, and I said, I wasn't nasty to him or anything like that. I just said, I think you need to make a bit of a, bigger road to start with. So if I was you, I'd just take that footpath out and just make the road a bit wider, and then I'll help you design a bridge. And he said thank you and all of that, and I genuinely thought he was an alright person, just trying to start off a city on Minecraft and become a better builder, and just needed a bit of help. But I wish I never joined, because from that day on, he used to nag me every single day to join his world, and then he'd want me to build like full buildings, like he'd want me to join like the whole entire, like, you know, build the whole entire building, and used to come on my world and screenshot it. And anyway, one day I joined his world and I helped him make a building. I literally started building a house myself, and I left because I had to go for my tea, and then I wasn't going to get a chance to come back on his world till the next day, so I said I'd come back on the next day, I'll help you finish this building. So I come back on, and some guy's only just gone and ripped the whole building down. So I had a massive go at him about it, and I said, look, I aren't coming here taking time detailing buildings in your world, which, you know, in my opinion look good, for you to just get somebody to take them down. And it turned into a bit of a dispute, and ever since then he and basically from that day on, he turned into a right little cocky, chavvy person, and he got put on this community. Like there was like a community, and you posted a picture of like people's accounts who were griefers, and he must have been put in that griefers account, in that griefers community, like over 600 times, and you can send me the picture, Steve, if you want. But literally every sort of 4 comments in that community was a comment from somebody saying, "B Chaddy grief my world, B Chaddy's a griefer, don't add this person, B Chaddy is a griefer." And in the end he got so sick of it that he made another account, and he reckoned that he wanted to sort things out with people, but for starters he named the account Into Your Nan, which for starters I don't really see how that's really making a fresh start. And then he basically tried to apologise to us all, and basically said, like, you know, you know, like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I've griefed and all of that in the past, and I've said some bad things, and you know, I just want to make things all right now. And he also disrespected Mr. Euphonium and stuff like that, and he's basically never joined since, really, because we wouldn't let him do it. And but yeah, send us a picture, Steve. So yeah, but Camo can be known to grief. He has griefed in the past. I don't get why people grief, really, even if it's just a joke, like even if they place TNT down and then break it. I don't see the point. Like, what's the point? Because, like, you know, whether I've had a lot of help or not, me personally, I've still put effort into this world. You know, like, for example, now I'm here filling grass in. You know, I built like all of these houses just recently. I built a ton of houses around this area, and I do put my effort into the map. And the reason why, like, you know, I get peed off when people grief is because of the effort, not just me putting in, but the effort like Steve and Ant have put in. They've built like tons of stuff in here. And then when people like just place lava from buildings, and especially when they're trying to catch people out, like for example, like I've had people in my world grief to try and blame it on other people. They say like, oh, this person will only grief you again, and then I won't believe them. I'll say like, he's not going to grief, and then they'll grief to make it look like it was him, when I know full well that it's not him. And you know, like I've had to start new city worlds due to griefing. I had one city world, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, me and Mr. Euphonium were building it together. It had the US Capitol, it had the Blackpool Tower, it had some amazing skyscrapers, it had a really cool football stadium in there, what Mr. Euphonium was helping me with. And some guy literally joined from a stream and asked to help, and he literally lathered the whole thing. He turned fire spreads on, and at the time I used to keep autosave on because I never had the crashing issues on my ps4 with Minecraft. So I thought, you know, if you do a big building, then it's going to automatically save. And I literally, like, he'd been helping a bit, and you know, I thought, well, you know what, you've been helping a bit now, going to give you some more permissions, you've been doing alright. And then bang, the whole football stadium just burning away, and it was that bad that every time I joined the world I couldn't turn fire spreads off quick enough before everything had just burned. There was like literally lava on every single building apart from this one Tesco supermarket, and it was so annoying. it was so annoying because not only me but Mr. Euphonium had put so much work into that US Capitol. It was absolutely unreal. Like the detail what he had put into it. Like I'll admit he was mostly building it, but I just kind of like, you know, I said what, you know, what do you want filling in, or, you know, where does the next window go, and then he'll say at this side exactly the same as the side I'm doing, and then I'd just put it in. I'd put the window in, and I'd kind of base it off of him telling me where to put things, because he knew what he was doing. And someone had already originally griefed it, and he couldn't remember how like a part of the building went, so he took it down, started rebuilding it, and he got the whole thing rebuilt, like everything rebuilt. And then that was it, bang. It literally just all been completely griefed, and, you know, like I say, it was that bad that I couldn't revive the world. So if I could name how many cities I've built on Minecraft, I would lose count, because they go right back from the Xbox 360 to the PS3 to the PS4 to the PC, to the Pocket Edition, and something bad's always happened to them, like a world crash, or, you know, something where it's not saved. And I'm lucky that I've got a city this far now, what has got so big, and literally, like, you know, I don't like it when people grief, because if I had to start all of this now, if I had to start rebuilding a whole skyscraper area, a whole industrial area with highways, if I had to build another football stadium and 2 arenas and another football pitch, and if I had to go around and build a huge housing area again, it would really, really pee me off, like. But I am a city builder. You know, when I bought Minecraft, I didn't buy it to play survival. I bought it because I knew you could build cities on them, and that was the first thing I did. And that's all I've ever really done in Minecraft. I mean, I've had the odd arena worlds and played the odd survival worlds, but most of my worlds are creative cities, which I work on, and then if one creative city world goes, I just basically then start on another world. And that's basically the way it goes. So but yeah, so I am thinking of adding Athlete Steve into the Park Drive at some point. And by the way, guys, about that GTA episode you saw, I'm not sure if I'm going to carry that on just yet. I'm a little bit iffy and unaware. I'm not really sure what to do with it, if I'm honest with you. At the end of the day, the last GTA was good, but I think it's one of them what you can't replace. For example, Lost on an Island. We're doing this like new survivalist thing, but this is going to be all like edited and different on Minecraft. But if you try to do the same Lost on an Island again, which we've tried to do, you know, like bearing in mind we have actually tried to do it, I think it's like it was something you can't do. Like the first Lost on an Island was a good series, and as a result of that, you can't replace it. Like you can't try and make an updated better one. And I think that's the same with the GTA. Like the GTA was good in the past, but it's something you should never like try and redo. Same with like movies in real life. Like sometimes you watch a really good movie, and then it's kind of like one of them movies where you think, you know, the movie was good when it was original. They shouldn't try and do it again, or try and make another one, or try and do the same thing but different. And I really honestly do think that's the same with the GTA series. I think the GTA series was good how it used to be, but I think making a new one and trying to make a better one is really just going to ruin it. Like, now don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing GTA role plays, but I've kind of got into the Park Drive and things now, and I'm a lot different to how I used to be back when my GTA was working. Like back when my GTA was working, we'd do like role plays every other day, sometimes every day. We'd come on we'd come on GTA, we'd beast out a good role-playing session. We knew what to do. We live-streamed a whole hour-long episode of just role-playing off the top of our heads for, you know, the 50th episode and I'm still not sure, you know, Steve. I'm still not sure about that. It seems weird how you took so long to take the picture. Like, you've jumped on the world and, you know, just lathered it quickly then. But, I mean, I guess... I don't know, it just seems... I don't see why Steve would deserve it, though. That it's not some... It doesn't work out. I'm sorry, Steve, but... I'm sorry, Steve, I don't believe it, because you never argue with anybody on the PlayStation Network. You tell the odd person who you don't know where to, you know, where to shove it to pee off. But I really, honestly, finding it hard to believe. I'm finding it hard to believe that you did get griefed, Steve. It just seems a little too suspicious, really. It doesn't seem like something what had happened, but if you have, then obviously if you want me to help repair it, or if you exited without saving, then, you know. I mean, yeah, again, like, he was being a dick, that's why he deserved it. Like, I can't see Steve being a dick, no offences. It's not something Steve does. Like Steve isn't the type of person to wind people up in a chat party, if that makes sense. It's not something I picture Steve doing. Like, yeah, I can imagine someone like me winding someone up in a chat party, or Camo winding someone up in a chat party, or some little squeaker coming in and winding us up, or something like that. But Steve isn't the type of person I can see to wind somebody up and make them grief him. So, sorry, but, you know, don't believe me then, bruv. I ain't gonna waste time doing myself, and Cam is known for being a griefer. Oh yeah, don't worry, I know that. I'm just saying because you tricked me before, like, you know, don't believe me then, bruv. I ain't gonna waste time doing myself. No, I guess not. No, I don't. It's not that I don't. It's hard. It's hard to explain, because it's not that I don't believe you. I just kind of have a feeling inside of me, if that makes sense. I just have this feeling inside that it could be set up. Like, don't get me wrong, you know. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't believe that Cam would grieve. It's just I don't believe, like, you would wind somebody up, if that makes sense. You know, like, I can quite understand. Like, I could quite understand that, you know, Cam would grieve somebody, but I just don't see how you would wind somebody up, that's all, because, you know, from me judging, being in chat parties with you over my time on the PSN, I've never known you to wind anybody up, so he'd done it because I had a go at him. Oh, alright, well, I guess that makes it more believable. I was going to say, you're not the person to wind somebody up, are you? But anyway, when you come online, if you want me to help you clear it up, I'll help you clear it up. Like, you know, I mean, you know, I'll help you clear it up. I just thought you might have done what we did with my football arena that time, where we basically went on a copied save and griefed it, and then we, like, tricked Tom Coombs that you and Ant grief me kind of thing. But I mean, if you want me to help you fix it, we can go ahead and do that. Doesn't bother me. I don't mind helping. I'll help anytime, bruv. Because, you know, that football world's a sick world. You ought to see it, guys. It's such a sick world, like, the effort what's gone into it. And because he pulled the Irish flag down, so I went on one. Oh yeah, that really annoyed me when he pulled the Irish flag down, because I have a lot of respect for the Irish. Like my nan and granddad know a lot of Irish people, a lot of Irish motorbike racers, and a lot of people what have things to do with the Irish, if that makes sense. and it really annoys me when I find out that somebody's disrespected the Irish. Like, nah, bro, not something I take kindly. Believe you and me. I have loads, especially with like a lot of the Irish people being like Irish MCs and stuff like that. I have a lot of respect for the Irish, and you know, like, it may be only something as stupid as I basically like, obviously I forgot what I was saying now because I went to read a comment on my phone. Oh God, where was I? I think, oh yeah, I was on about saying how I have a lot of respect for the Irish. But yeah, I do have a lot of respect for the Irish. Because you know, they went through a really tough time years ago as well. Like, I'm talking like back like really years ago. They went through an absolutely terrible time with something which, you know, I deeply have a lot of respect for them for pulling through it. Like, I'm talking like the whole country. And there was a program about it a bit ago, and a bit since, and the person who plays Mrs. Brown, that Brendan O'Carroll, his granddad was affected with it. I think some people like robbed his shop and murdered him, and it was all to do with this thing what the English had against the Irish years ago. And you know, I find it disgusting that we could have done something like that, and I kind of keep a lot of respect for the Irish, and like I say, my nan and granddad know a lot of Irish people, and you know, my granddad's physically raced on a motorbike over there, like no joke, he's actually full on raced a race motorbike over there. So I'm hardly, you know, they've stayed in hotels over there, and they know a lot about the place. So, you know. Actually, no, I'm not going to put a grave there. We'll have another pathway come down, and then we'll just carry on the graves here. Okay, so yep, that's looking a lot better already, giving off some more graves. I'll just do that. I don't know why, just makes it look a bit more evener, I guess. But that looks really cool. So glad we decided to extend the church. So the graveyard's just behind this person's garden, really, and then there is a little alleyway just here, I think. Does it actually connect anywhere? Oh no, it doesn't. I thought there was a back alley somewhere around here, but I guess I was wrong. So yeah, I just thought with a block here it might have led into one, but I'm guessing it doesn't. And it kind of just dead ends up here, so I can't really be bothered. It comes like more or less, you know, just before Steve's house. We need to break this van down as well soon, because Paul's not going to be at this house for a while, as he's been told he can't work for a while. So what could that relate to, guys? We're basically not making him work as a builder anymore in the series. You see, there's so many stories in Park Drive what can go down. Like, for example, Paul isn't working for a while, so you know what's going to happen to him. His big part in Park Drive's working. You've got to take that in mind. Obviously, there's Steve who done the fire. Is he going to get caught? He's obviously, as you can see, he kind of said it could have been Noreen. Like, for all we know, it could have been Noreen. So what if everybody starts blaming Noreen because it's at her house? That type of thing, you know. there's so many different things out of this huge story in Park Drive. What could happen? That's what I like about it. And I have a pretty cool idea, but the only thing is I can't tell you guys about it. Here's the wreck anyway, guys. You see? After the fire. All that's left is a little speaker in Noreen's room. In terms of the kids' room, half of the floor's eroded. And then there's just a little door left there and a little stand. In terms of the bathroom, you can kind of just see where there was a sink, and then there would have been a bath here. Again, you can kind of see more here. Again, well, I think the sink was here and the bath was maybe here, and then you had your toilet, which, bearing in mind, the toilet's actually survived. The one thing in the house what survived is a toilet. You have a teeny bit of a bath, and you have a teeny bit of a sink, but you have the whole working toilet still. You know, it was just in case the fire scared and gave you the shits, I guess. Let's see what else survived in here. Nothing too much, I don't think. Oh, well, I guess you have two, like, cookers, what survived, kind of thing. You have a couple of cupboards. You have a sink still filled up with water. I'll just get rid of that. Everything's just a complete junk in here. Computer room. Well, the computer, them pictures can go, just for the realism. What survived in here? There's a speaker. I doubt it'd work though. Another picture up there, look. Alright, well, let's go. Sick. Surprising what stayed and what hasn't. Anyway, I am going to leave this live stream there soon, guys, because I am going to go for my tea soon. It's getting like close to my tea time, and you know. Get some food down me. Nah, just hey yo my bros, what's going down? It's Athlete Steve. Now I'm just there to let you know. Now I'm gonna go for my tea. I'm gonna get myself a bite to eat. I think personally Athlete Steve would be good in the series. Personally. Shadow's decorated his house for Christmas. Not the inside yet, just some of his outside. We'll have to see what he wants to do. So like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you all in the next one.